Are the Detroit Pistons the best team in the Eastern Conference, and can Cade Cunningham win MVP? Seems so far through the season that this might be the case. All right, before I get into the video, I want to say two things. Make sure you leave a like on this video. I know we haven't gotten into it yet, but I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. That's why you clicked on the video. And if you like this video, you're going to like my past videos. So go ahead and subscribe so you can get more content like this. But let's get back to the video. All right, man. So like I was saying, bro, the Detroit Pistons are still on the roll. They're still on the roll. As of right now, after last night, I believe they beat the Bucks. Let me pull up. Yeah, no, they beat the Pacers last night, and they're on a 13-game winning streak. 13 games, very impressive. 15-2 on the season. They're the number one team in the Eastern Conference, and then it's really not much you can really say about this team. The Detroit Pistons have been phenomenal, right? Like, if we start at the top, Cade Cunningham has been a top player in the league, right? Like, in the MVP rankings, they came out like earlier in the week. I want to say maybe like Sunday or something like that. What's today? Or maybe not Sunday. Nigga, the rankings came out, right? And Cade Cunningham was ranked 5th in the MVP voting. And so far in the season, he's been playing phenomenal. 27 points, 5.4 rebounds, 9.9 assists. He's been the best player in the fourth quarter in the entire NBA. Like, there's really not anybody messing with him once the fourth quarter hits, right? And it's not just him. Like, yeah, Cade, I just said these phenomenal numbers, but you also have Jalen Duren, who has clearly taken a step. He's averaging a double-double, 20 points, 11 rebounds. He's been phenomenal all season, and he's provided a certain type of – he's taking some pressure off of Cade. That's what I'll say. He's taking some pressure off of Cade. Last year, I mean, and they still are kind of struggling with it, but last year, Cade Cunningham had a lot of weight of that offense on his back. And with Jalen Duren being able to come out a little bit more, handle the ball from the top of the key, and just be able to do more with the ball in his hands versus last year, it definitely takes some pressure off of Cade. I don't think Cade feels the pressure to have to create so much offense, and he's the engine. I mean, he is the engine of his offense, but to be the only source of life on offense, right? I don't feel like he has to feel like that anymore. You see what I'm saying? So, shout out to Jalen Duren for that, and everybody else on the team has been phenomenal. Ron Holland has taken a step. Karis LeVert, Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris has been phenomenal as well. Dennis Jenkins is a guy who everybody's talking about. He just has started to get some play time. One of the guys who was in college for a long time, like an extremely long time. And what college did he go to? Let me not mess up his college. He was undrafted. He went to St. John's. Okay, he went to St. John's. And he's been pretty solid for Detroit, you know, when they've got him minutes. Jaden Ivey has come back. This is the guy who everyone is hoping can kind of alleviate some pressure off of Cade when it comes to having a secondary ball handler on the perimeter. It's only been 2 games, so I'm not going to say anything. It's only been 2 games. I'm not going to say too much about him. Now, since we're talking about teams who are the top teams in the East, it only makes sense for us to go from the 1 seed all the way down to the 2 seed. And let me bring them up, actually, if this website will allow. If the website will allow me to bring them up. The Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors have been phenomenal this season. And last night, they beat the team that we're going to talk about next, the Cleveland Cavaliers, in a pretty, it was a pretty decisive game. They beat them, what was it? Man, passed. They beat them 110 to 99 last night. It was a game in which Brandon Ingram went absolutely ballistic. Brandon Ingram went absolutely ballistic. He had like 37 points on like 30 shot attempts. It was pretty insane. And I mean, overall, the Raptors have been phenomenal this year, right? Like, when you look at some of the player stats, Brandon Ingram stands out. 21 points, 48% from the field, 30 from 3, Brandon Ingram is in some modern NBA spacing. This is something he honestly has not had for the majority of his career. But with the Raptors having a bunch of guys who are threats from the perimeter, like a Grady Dick and Emmanuel Quickly, a Jakob Poeltl, Jamal Shead has been phenomenal defensively, but we know he can be a bucket based off what he did in college at Houston. Having all these guys on your team who are able to beat threats with the ball in their hands, it opens the game up for a guy like Brandon Ingram. It allows him to have a game like last night where he can score 37 points and just be phenomenal. And the Raptors overall have been not just, I mean, Brandon Ingram has been phenomenal, but the Raptors have been one of the best teams in the entire NBA. I mean, 13-5, second in the East. Coming to the season, I was not expecting the Raptors to be like this. I have to be honest. I was not expecting the Raptors to be like this, to be this team that was going to be second in the East, because there was just a lot of questions surrounding them for me, especially with them signing Brandon Ingram to that big extension. They signed him to a big extension before he had even stepped foot on the floor. But hey, sixth in the league in points per game, so I guess Brandon Ingram that's the type of value he's giving you offensively. He's showed that he can be a major point in this offense. Him along with Scotty Barnes. You can't really leave out Scotty Barnes either. I mean, Scotty Barnes is giving you 19, 7, and 5, which is very solid. And I mean, 6 points per game. They're doing really well with passing the ball, which is a big reason why they're sixth in points per game. They play some solid defense. A big reason for this can go to this brother right here, Jamal Shed, who has been really a dog defensively, like one of their top defenders. And he is a big reason as to why the Raptors have been so good this season. Like, the Raptors being second in the East is something that I didn't expect. Because coming to the season, I'm not going to lie, bro. The Raptors are one of those teams where I was like, I just didn't see it. I really didn't. Like, Scotty Barnes, cool. RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Brandon Ingram, I believed in Brandon Ingram, but I just didn't know if that was enough to. Of course, I knew they were going to be competitive in the East, but especially based off what they were doing like last year and all these different types of things, I just didn't know how this was going to play out for them. Like, what the outcome of this was going to be for them. And so far have been pretty good. I don't know if they've just gotten hot. I mean, 8 straight, so obviously they have gotten hot. But I'm saying I don't know if this is something that they can sustain. I don't know if it's something that they can't sustain. I don't know. But one thing I know is they on the 8-game winning streak. They have beaten they've beaten some impressive. They got some impressive wins in here, but for majority of it, it's just them sweeping Cleveland. Beating Cleveland 3 times, but Cleveland has had their own struggles that we'll get into very soon. So, I mean, they lost their Rockets before they went. They were on a 4-game losing streak before they won this win streak, but clearly they're putting something together. And I mean, as the season goes on, we can see like what's going to happen. Tomorrow they play the Pacers, then the Hornets, and they play the Knicks on Sunday. So if you want to kind of get a gauge for what this team is really like, you can see what's going to happen when they play the Knicks on Sunday. But you have to be happy for Toronto Raptors fans. I mean, I know they're ecstatic. I know that they are ecstatic considering the fact that they didn't expect to be here. Because I know I didn't. I know they for sure did not expect it. So, congrats, Toronto. Now, next team I have to get in is none other than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers. Can I say that they've been disappointing? Like, honestly, I have to be honest. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been disappointing. You can point to Darius Garland being out for majority of the season. Them just struggling with injuries all around. Like, if I actually don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can bring it up quick enough to see how many people have been injured this season. But they haven't really had anybody be able to be out there for them consistently. So that kind of plays into why they have struggled so far this season. But I don't know, bro. I feel like getting swept by the Toronto Raptors, even if you don't have Darius Garland, is kind of concerning. You know what I'm saying? Darius Garland has only played in 5 games, and we know how big of a contributor he is to the offense. He's phenomenal with the ball in his hands. He's not the engine, but he's somebody who they choose to run their offense around because of his decision making and his passing. You know, all the things, bro. I don't got to sit up here and write it out for you. But even with just him missing, I feel like having DeAndre Hunter, Donovan Mitchell, who is having a phenomenal season, and Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley should be enough. But Jarrett Allen has been struggling. Has been out. He's only played in 14 games so far this season. But Evan Mobley has been playing. He hasn't been on the high that he was last year. A lot of that can be attributed to Darius Garland not being there to give him a lot of those looks that he is used to having. But, DeAndre Hunter has been in and out the lineup as well. So maybe it's just a thing of this Cavs team. They probably just need to find some continuity. They just need to get in the flow of things. But so far it's been 19 games. They're 12-7. They're 4th in the East. And For a team that coming into the season, we were saying that they could be a top team in the East. Some people were arguing that they could run away at the East like they did last year, but this season hasn't been that. This season, it just hasn't been that. I mean, they got blown out by the Raptors last night. They got blown out by the Raptors last night. They beat the Clippers and the Pacers. They lost to Houston, and it was a 10-point loss. They just have been this year. Now, the hope is the fact that this is just a struggle that they're going through now, and by the time later on in the season, or once we're in like April, May, June, July, June, not July, they're better. But as of right now, I don't know. Because Donovan Mitchell is playing his ass off. Like, honestly and truthfully, if I can find Donovan Mitchell, he's averaging 29.9, so I'll give you 30, 5 assists, and I'll say 5 rebounds, right? He's giving you these type of games. He's tied for playing the most games out of anybody. Wait, no. He's second. Evan Mobley has played the most games for them this season. And he's giving you these type of numbers. These are MVP caliber numbers, in my opinion. And it's just like, how long can he sustain that? I'm not doubting that he can sustain it. I mean, he has shown throughout his career that he has the ability to put up these numbers and maintain them and sustain them. However, you don't want to be so reliant on Donovan Mitchell doing that. You don't want to be relying on any one player putting up numbers like this regardless. So that's really my main concern for the Cavs. But I guess the optimism for that is, like earlier, I think somebody asked Donovan Mitchell about it, and he said we'd rather be going through it now than later on in the season. So, hey, maybe Darius Garland ends up coming back. They end up getting it together. And once they get it together, who knows what can happen with this team. Maybe they do start surging, become that number 1 seed, take over the Pistons, surpass the Raptors. But they're the 4th seed in the East right now, and I for sure did not foresee that coming. Did not see that coming for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and hopefully they can get better, bro. That's really all it is. And, I mean, I don't really have much to say about any other team in the East. I mean, the Chicago Bulls fell off. The New York Knicks ain't really nothing popping for real over there, but the Atlanta Hawks. Well, actually, I do want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks again. Something small, bro. Trae Young has been out. The Hawks are 11-7, 6 in the East, and they've been playing good recently, bro. Jalen Johnson had a monster game versus Charlotte the other night where he had like 28 points, 11 assists, I think like 8 rebounds and no turnovers. So like he's been phenomenal. But if you're a real ball knower, this isn't no surprise. You knew Jalen Johnson was like that. You knew he was like, I knew he was like that. I've been knowing he was like that. So with him balling and doing all these things, not surprising me at all. May surprise you, but not me. I already knew what he was about. So it is very nice to see him performing and going out here playing at a high level. Because, I mean, I knew ever since he was at Duke, even before he got to Duke, I was a big Jalen Johnson guy. So it's good that he's playing real well. But transition over to the Western Conference, a team that I'm concerned about. A team that I am concerned about. Let me show y'all, bro. Let me show y'all. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's have some honest conversations about the Timberwolves. So, the Timberwolves are. Okay, wait. Can I pull up the statistics? God. Yeah. The Timberwolves are 10-7, 7th in the Western Conference. Last night, they lost to the Sacramento Kings. You don't want to be a team that loses to Sacramento Kings. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like you don't want to be a team that loses to Sacramento Kings. Lost to Sacramento Kings, 5-point loss. And it's the same thing with the Cavs. You can say it's early on in the season. You rather them struggle now. But back-to-back losses, one to the Suns, one to the Kings. There are already questions coming into the season with them losing to Kill Alexander-Walker and the aging of Mike Conley, because we knew that they needed a point guard. Because, I mean, you got this brother right here, right? You have Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is going to take you as far as you can go. But as we all know, like, one player cannot unless it's like LeBron or something like that. One player is not going to be enough to really be truly competitive, and especially in the Western Conference, the Timberwolves are falling behind, bro. 10-7, seventh in the West. That's not somewhere you want to be, and a big reason for this is because they don't have a point guard. They don't have a point guard. With them not having a point guard, they have lacked an offensive identity. Rob Dillingham has simply not been what they have been hoping for. I mean, if I go to his stats, once it pulls up. Rob Dillingham simply, 37% from the field, 25% from three just will not cut it, and he's only been getting 10 minutes a game. And coming this season, a lot of the talk was, Rob Dillingham could be the point guard. He is service. Can he be serviceable? He played decent in summer league, and he just has not been that for the Timberwolves so far this season. Terrence Shannon, he hasn't played in too many games this season. He hasn't taken the leap to replace Nickeil Alexander-Walker like we were hoping for, especially after seeing the way he played in the playoffs last year. He just hasn't been there. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Edwards has been great. He just came back from injury. Jaden McDaniels was holding it down a little bit. But overall, this team just – Rudy Gobert also seems to have fallen off a little bit defensively. And overall, this team is just not really looking very good. I would be concerned because I think their issues are not issues that Timberwolves. Don't get me wrong, they are a team that is known for starting off slow and they pick it up throughout the season. Because the same thing happened last season, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very possible that that's the case here. However, I feel like this is a bit different because I genuinely do not see how they could turn it around. They need a point guard at the end of the day, and Rudy Gobert needs to lock in defensively, but he's getting older. Unless Barry J can come over here and take over. Naz Reid has also not been putting up his usual production, but he has some personal issues that go on, and I'm sure that happened before the season, so I'm sure that has knocked him off his pivot a little bit. But guys have not been playing like they have in the past. I really don't like Julius Randle's fit on this team, although you see his stats, they look nice. I'm not too much big of a fan of him on the Timberwolves. I think they need a point guard. I don't think they need somebody on the wing. I don't think they need somebody on the wing. I think they need somebody who can offset some of the ball handling responsibilities of Anthony Edwards. And I don't know, bro. I'm just concerned. If you are a Timberwolves fan, you should be concerned. Now, the next team that I'm going to talk about in this version of NBA Weekly, I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's NBA Weekly, is the Utah Jazz. Now, Utah Jazz have been ass, right? Don't get me wrong. The Utah Jazz have not been good this year. Can I see their record, please? Thank you. The Utah Jazz have not been good. 5-12, 11th in the West, which is expected. Nobody expected the Utah Jazz to be good. However, what's pretty impressive is how they're playing. Lauri Markkanen has been phenomenal this season. At one point he was averaging 30 points, bro. He's been playing phenomenal. But a guy I want to focus on is A gang. A guy I want to focus on is any day now. I'm getting hello guys. Hello y'all. Jesus Christ. A guy I want to focus on is this guy right here. Keontae George. I'm a believer. Now, don't get me. Hey, I'm in the Keontae. Actually, let me talk my stuff right quick. I'm in the Keontae George guy even before Baylor, even before IMG Academy. I've been a Keontae George guy ever since he was in Louisville, Texas, playing for Louisville High School. That's how long I've been a Keontae George guy. Ever since he was in high school. Now, he got to the NBA, struggling a little bit, right? He hadn't, had the best season, the past couple of seasons. Last year, as you can see, he only averaged 16, started averaging 13. But one thing that I believed in always was his ability to shoot the ball. And although he isn't shooting as well from three, he is clearly a better scorer this year, which is evidence as him being able to take the leap up to a 20-point scorer. And then to be able to add 7 assists behind that, I think this is real, and I think this is legit. And I think this is who he is as a player. I think this is who he is becoming as a player. And coming to the season, we needed somebody off of this Utah Jazz roster to emerge. We just needed one person to just emerge because they have all these young guys. You have Cody Williams, you have Taylor Hendricks, you have Isaiah Collier, you have You have Ace Bailey, Bryce Sensabaugh. You have all of these guys, right? And you just need somebody to emerge. Walker Kessler had emerged defensively, but who's going to provide the offense? Bryce Sensabaugh looked like MJ in the summer league. Looks like far from that now. In the actual NBA season. But Keontae George has taken a legit leap, and it warms my heart. And one thing I've noticed from the Utah Jazz is that this is not a team that you can just like walk over. I feel like like some teams they probably like come in like we're playing Utah Jazz, they ain't really nothing to worry about. Now the Utah Jazz like they're losing games, but they're being somewhat competitive. Like ignore this, but they played the Lakers. Lakers lost to the Lakers by 2. Ignore this. Ignore this, but lose to the Hawks by 10. You beat the Pacers. You lose to the Timberwolves by 7. Like, they're losing these games, and some of them are blowouts, as evidence here, but some of them are close. Some of them are close wins. And they've been competitive. I will definitely say that, and I think a big reason for that is Keontae George has been playing well. Obviously, Larry Markin has been playing really well for them, and I think the Utah Jazz, if I'm looking at this so far as a success, I think Ace Bailey, I mean, he's a rookie. He'll start to come around. I'm a believer in Ace Bailey, and especially what Will Hardy can do for him, and kind of strengthen his skill set outside of what he is known for, which is like shooting and being ball dominant and all these type of things. But I am a believer in this Utah Jazz team, and I think that they're building something nice, bro. I think they're building something nice. Now, final thing, I guess y'all kind of seen it on NBA Weekly, is the MVP ladder. They released the MVP ladder on the 21st, right? If I'm not mistaken, yeah, November 21st, so whenever that was. And, I mean, first, we all know it makes sense. Nikola Jokic is number 1. Understandable, bro. 29 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. He's averaging a triple-double. The efficiency is off the charts. Nikola Jokic has been amazing. I don't really have to say too much about him, bro. I don't have to say too much about Nikola Jokic. He has been, I'm not gonna say like by far, but he has been easily one of the best players this entire season. Easily one of the best players this entire season, and him being number 1 MVP rankings is cool. The same thing as last year, like where him and Shea are gonna go back and forth over this number 1 and 2 spot, because Jokic, I mean, the things he dominates in, just different the way Shea dominates. Shea is averaging 32, 5, and 6. He's ranking number 2. He's behind Nikola Jokic. Probably not going to go back to back. I'm going to tell you that right now, unless he just has an insane, season. And he is having an insane season. Like, don't get me wrong. Because all of these stats, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, he's doing all of this in 3 quarters. Three quarters. Shea is doing all of this in 3 quarters of play. So, he sat out in the 4th quarter, in 9 of their 4th quarters over 16 games. Yeah, he is still like one of the league's top scorers, bro. Like this is kind of insane, right? And this is why he's second. He'll probably be one week, and he'll be second again. Like, that's just how it goes. But Shea has been on another level, bro. And I mean, him and Nikola Jokic, bro. Flip a coin of who's 1 and 2. I'm taking Nikola Jokic personally, but hey, bro, it's literally like if you're taking Shea, I really don't even have an argument against you. I honestly do not. That's how close I think they are at this point, bro. Shea has been unreal. Nikola Jokic has been unreal as well. Third, you got Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic has done a phenomenal job at carrying the Lakers, especially with LeBron being out at first. He's been great. And even since LeBron has come back, he is still almost averaging a triple-double, 36, 8, 9. He's been arguably on, like, one of the best stretches of his entire career, which makes sense. He's entering his prime. And even with like LeBron coming back, Luka is he's the focal point in his offense. I never thought in my life I would say that about a team that LeBron James is on, but Luka has been the focal point on this offense. He's been pretty decent. They're bringing up defense. I guess Luka's defense has been a little bit like better, but it's mainly due to the fact that he has JJ Redick coaching him and the fact that he's gotten like skinnier. But yeah, man, Luka's unreal. After him, you have Giannis. Giannis, we knew he was going to be here, bro. 31, 10, 6. Top scorer in the NBA. It's crazy. He's been in a lot of competitive games, and he's still not averaging as many points as Shea. That is freaking insane to me. But Giannis, bro, we know the two-way beast that he is. He has been amazing all season. He's literally carrying Bucks on his back. Like if the Bucks did not have this brother on their team, they would be so bad. They would be horrendous. They would be like ass. Like they would be bad. So he is carrying them, which of course is going to be worthy of MVP candidate. He might step it up. Who knows? But you have the Bucks in a decent little spot in the East. Best you can ask for given the circumstances. So yeah. And then fifth, I talked about it earlier. Cade Cunningham. He's been phenomenal. Hey man, one of the best in the league. And now in this next five, right? Got Vic. But these next couple of players, specifically these two, Jalen Johnson and Tyrese Maxey. I didn't talk about Tyrese Maxey too much, and I guess I can go on a little rant, but Jalen Johnson has been performing really well. So for him to be right here warms my heart a little bit. Now Tyrese Maxey, let me pull him up actually. Tyrese Maxey has been on a heater this season. He has been on a legit heater this season so far, bro. Like, I'm not going to lie. Would not be surprised if this is who he really is. Let me pull up his stats. Tyrese Maxey is averaging, so far this season, 33 points. Okay, it's not really what I wanted. There we go. All right, so far this season, Tyrese Maxey is averaging 33 points, 5 rebounds, and about 8 assists. I'll give it to you, Tyrese. I'll round up for you, brother. And this is insane. Coming out of Kentucky, I really couldn't have seen this from Tyrese Maxey. Of course, I thought he could be like a nice little secondary star next to Joel Embiid, but 33, 5, and 8 is definitely not something I saw from Tyrese Maxey. And he's doing this in 40 minutes per game, so, like, of course, you might have to scale back your expectation a little bit if the minutes were to drop. But this is still a huge scoring leap regardless, because he was playing like 3 less minutes last year, and he was averaging 7 less points, right? And he wasn't averaging this many assists. And he just looks legit out there, bro. Like, plain and simple. Tyrese Maxey looks like the real deal. Looks like he could be a superstar, honestly. And if he becomes a superstar, if VJ Edgecombe is able to develop, the Sixers can be pretty dangerous. But that's all I got for NBA Weekly. Way longer than last week's episode. But, this is really all I have for NBA Weekly, bro. The Cavs, the Timberwolves, keep an eye out on them. I don't really what's going to happen over there. I would be more optimistic for the Cavs and Timberwolves, but who knows, bro. This is all I got for NBA Weekly. If you like this video, like I said, leave a like. If you liked it, then go ahead and subscribe because you're going to enjoy my other videos. But that's all I got. Until next time, peace.